Bubba the Cowboy Prince, a fractured Texas tale. Once, a strapping young feller named Bubba lived on a ranch with his wicked stepdaddy and his hateful and lazy stepbrothers, Dwayne and Milton. Bubba's stepdaddy spoiled Dwayne and Milton to no end. But Bubba worked from sunup to sundown, doing the chores of 3 ranch hands. Bubba never complained, though. He loved ranching. Ranching is working with cows or with horses. Dwayne and Milton spent their days sitting on horseback, bossing Bubba around. "Get them doggies along there, Bubba," ordered Dwayne. "Yeah, and watch out for them cow patties," added Milton. "You know how Daddy hates for you to track up the house." Cow patties are cow poop. Now, Miss Lurleen, who lived down the road a piece, was the purtiest and richest gal in the county. She owned the biggest spread west of the Brazos, and she loved ranching too. But it was lonesome work, and after a while, she decided it was time for some companionship. "I aim to find myself a feller," she said, "one who loves ranching as much as I do, and it wouldn't hurt if he was cute as a cow's ear either." Miss Lurleen decided to throw a ball. She sent invitations to all the ranchers in Texas. Soon the day of the ball arrived. Milton and Dwayne spent all day getting gussied up in their finest studs. Bubba about ran himself ragged waiting on them. "Bubba!" shouted Dwayne. "Fetch my bolo tie." "Bubba!" shouted Milton. "Get my boots polished." "Bubba!" shouted his wicked stepdaddy. "Brush them horses and wash that wagon." Man, they sure are bossy. By the time Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy were ready to go, Bubba was exhausted. Still, as they climbed into the wagon, Bubba asked, "Can't you wait for me to get ready? I want to dance with Miss Lurleen too." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy hooted and hollered. "Why, you're sorrier than a steer in a stockyard," said Dwayne. "Can you imagine Miss Lurleen dancing with the likes of you?" said Milton. "Miss Lurleen wouldn't even wipe the dirt clods off her boots with that raggedy shirt of yours. And you smell more like the cattle than the cattle do." They are not very nice, are they? Bubba took a look at himself. It was true. He didn't have a decent shirt to wear. His boots were downright disgraceful, and he didn't smell a bit rough. He did smell a bit rough, excuse me. Milton and Dwayne were right. Miss Lurleen wouldn't dance with the likes of him. Bubba hung his head. He felt lower than a rattlesnake in a gully. Milton and Dwayne and their wicked daddy went on off to the ball. Bubba mounted his horse and headed for the pasture to check on the herd. A herd is a group of cows. The sky was getting darker than a black bull at midnight. It looked like a Texas thunderstorm was brewing. Bubba had just arrived at the cow pasture when a bolt of lightning struck, knocking him off his horse. Bubba was stunned for a moment, but when he picked himself up, he heard a voice. "Go to the ball, Bubba," said the voice. Bubba looked around. No one was there except him and the cows. I wonder who it was. Now, Bubba figured he'd bonked the bejeebers out of his bean, because the voice was coming from a cow. She chewed her cud for a moment, then said, "I'm your fairy god cow, and I can help you go to the ball." Bubba sat up, rubbing his head. "I'd like to go, Miss God Cow, but shoot, I don't have a thing to wear." The fairy god cow swished her tail, and Bubba's raggedy clothes changed into the handsomest cowboy duds he'd ever laid eyes on. His jeans were crisp, his boots were shiny, his shirt was dazzling, and his Stetson was whiter than a new salt lick. Why, I look downright purty, said Bubba. The fairy god cow swished her tail again, and a nearby steer turned into the most beautiful white stallion Bubba had ever seen. Now, you go on off to the ball, Bubba, and have a good time dancing with Miss Lurleen. But you'd best be home by midnight, 'cause that's when the magic runs out. Yahoo! Shouted Bubba as he jumped on the white horse and galloped off to the ball. When Bubba arrived, the hoedown was in full swing, but every time Miss Lurleen finished a dance, she yawned. There goes another $10 Stetson on a 5-cent head, she complained. Where are all the real cowboys? By the time it was Bubba's turn to dance with Miss Lurleen, it was almost midnight. Soon as she saw Bubba, Miss Lurleen's eyes lit up. Why, you're cute as a cow's ear, she said. Bubba blushed, then took Miss Lurleen in his arms and started dancing. Dwayne and Milton turned purple with jealousy. Jealousy is when you wish you had what someone else has. Who is that dude? Said Dwayne. I don't recollect seeing him before, but he looks a mite familiar, said Milton. Do something, said the wicked daddy. That cowboy is winning Miss Lurleen's heart. There they are. They look so grumpy. Look at their faces. But it looks like Miss Lurleen and Bubba are having a really good time. As it turned out, Milton and Dwayne didn't have to do a thing because Bubba and Miss Lurleen were in the middle of dos-a-doing when the clock struck midnight. Uh-oh. Suddenly, Bubba's fine duds turned into the dirty rags he usually wore around the ranch. He looked sorry and he smelled worse. What is that awful smell? Asked Milton. Why, it's Bubba, shouted Dwayne. Bubba turned 14 shades of red, apologized to Miss Lurleen, and ran out of the room. Wait, she yelled, chasing after him. I think he felt really embarrassed. Poor Bubba. But Bubba didn't wait. He jumped on his cow and lumbered off into the night. In the ruckus, he lost one of his dirty cowboy boots. Miss Lurleen clasped it in her arms. This is the boot of a real cowboy and the man I want to marry. And I aim to find him. Miss Lurleen went back inside, and though she asked everybody at the ball, nobody knew who that mysterious cowboy was. Nobody except Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy, that is. But they weren't talking. The next day, Miss Lurleen went from ranch to ranch looking for the cowboy who owned the boot. When she came to Dwayne and Milton's ranch, both brothers tried the boot on, but it didn't fit. Miss Lurleen had just climbed on her horse to leave when Bubba rode up. He was dirty and sweaty and smelly from working with the cows, and he was only wearing one boot. There he is over there. There's his poor foot with no boot. When Miss Lurleen jumped off her horse and ran over to Bubba, "Try this on," she cried. Bubba took his dirty old boot and pulled it on. "Much obliged, ma'am," he said, blushing. That's kind of like saying thank you. It fit perfectly. "You're my prince in cowboy boots," shouted Miss Lurleen. "I'd recognize that smell anywhere. Marry me, cowboy, and help me work my ranch." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy threw chicken fits. Look at them. They're having little temper tantrums. But Bubba just smiled, and he and Miss Lurleen rode off into the sunset. They lived happily ever after, roping and cowpoking and getting them doggies along. Now, something that's really fun about this book is the fairy god cow is hiding on almost every page. Right here, she's hiding up in there, in that barn. On this page, she's blending in with the other cattle. Here she is on this page, hiding in the wall. This is the only page she's not on. Here she is hiding back here. There she is in the cloud. And again, in the sky. And there she is. Here she is here. And here. And here. Now her eye is open, you can tell. There she is, hiding behind the cactus. And she's actually not on that page either. But there she is on this page. There she is. Now, I want you to think about how this story is the same and how this story is different than the other story we read, Cinderella. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon.